So let us begin with questions, concerns. Yes.
About the teachers, what kind of teachers are we looking at for the STEM school? The teachers, how qualified they are they,
They're the best. We're looking for the best teachers we can find. Maria, do you want to say anything to that?
Sure. We're certainly going to look for teachers that are highly qualified, certainly teachers that have certification, and certainly teachers that have experience. And we're going to certainly provide the best opportunities for our students. So we're going to provide the best leadership in these classrooms.
Sir.
I have very mixed emotions on this proposal. On the one hand, I'm a graduate of Brooklyn Tech and an engineer, and I understand the need for engineers and scientists on Long Island and in the country. And having gone to Brooklyn Tech, I understand the value of such a type school. But on the other hand, I'm a resident of Hicksville, and coincidentally was recently elected to the school board. Although I haven't sworn in, and I'm not speaking for the school board, I'm speaking strictly for myself, my concern is that the way this will be paid for, you said in the slide, it'll be paid for by the state aid. But as I understand it, right now we get about 10% state aid for Hicksville schools. Jericho, I think, gets about 3%. So the money that's being provided from the school districts is really coming from the real estate taxes of the homeowners. It's not coming from the state fund, if I understand how the state aid works. And I know we get 10% or less. In general, working class communities on Long Island are really hurt by this state aid arrangement. Hicksville gets 10%, Jericho 3%. I did research on this. Elmira, upstate Elmira, gets 70%. We basically, with our state income tax, pay their school tax. And as a result, I'm concerned that this 200,000 that you say would come out of Hicksville if 10 students went, because I think Hicksville schools are about 20 grand, wouldn't be offset by reductions in our costs. We just lose revenue. And I'm wondering if there isn't another approach that could be considered that doesn't hurt working class communities, taking away money. I see the need for this, but I wonder if there couldn't be a regional approach tied into this so that we don't end up paying for Elmira and now for these schools.
That may be beyond what we can resolve in our discussion about building the charter school here, probably more located in legislative debate back and forth about the nature of real estate tax and taxation here on Long Island. I will say that the example we used was Jericho. And I must confess and say and compliment the superintendent who did come to meet with me and discuss ways that we might be able to address those dollars that might come, shall we say, out of Jericho and perhaps even out of Hicksville and other places, so as to maybe reduce that. And as I said to him then, I will say to you now that we will look at suggestions that have come and been brought before us as to how we might address certainly the amount of money that would come from a district. But the law currently says that the district, if a child chooses to come to our charter school, has to send that money over to our charter school. Sir.
On the slide you said it would come from state aid, and virtually we get no state aid.
I do understand that question. Sir.
Is there some shortage that you see in the local school system here that you think this area and the pool that you're trying to pull from, specifically, Jericho, Syosset, did you think that this type of school is needed in this area? Typically, what my experience with charter schools has been, they're all over New York City because New York City public schools, where you said you started 3 schools, are underperforming schools where students are afraid to go to class, students are unable to learn in the type of environment that's provided. I'm a relatively new resident here, but I don't see any of those shortages in any of the schools around here. So why would you put it here and try to take money, as that gentleman was talking about, out of the system that seems to work very well?
We actually don't expect that people will leave Jericho, because it is so very good. So we're not looking to take huge numbers of children from Jericho. But there are districts on Long Island where the STEM education, especially, as well as other quality education, is not as strong, shall we say, as Jericho. So I don't think Jericho is going to be damaged really at all. It just so happens that we are located in the Jericho School District. But I wouldn't see, based on what you just described, that these conditions don't exist. I wouldn't see large numbers of children from Jericho coming over here, nor would I see their parents encouraging them to come.
But when you were going through your budget, you talked about, and maybe it was as an example, a lot of money coming out of Jericho in the school system. And so you're basically taking something that's working just fine and potentially breaking it, which would, as an educator, seem to be contrary to what you're trying to do and what Mrs. Doshi is trying to do.
No, not breaking it, because it's choice. That's the beauty of it. The child, only if a student comes from Jericho will the money follow them. So if no students come, that was just an example because we're located in Jericho. But if no students come from Jericho, Jericho has nothing to be concerned about. It's choice. Jericho is doing, as I understand it, exceptionally well. Sterling. It is a paragon of excellence in terms of education. Why would anybody want to leave it? And if nobody leaves to come to the charter school that's on this campus, not a dime flows from Jericho. Not 1 cent. Yes, ma'am.
But did you say that the health care would be overseen by Jericho, which means that's our cost, and also the transportation?
If a student comes. If no student comes.
Then there's nothing Jericho oversees and has to pay for.
It's choice. Yes.
Hi, I'm actually from outside of this school district. And what it is like if my son goes to the school, then the medical and everything else gets billed back to my district. So it's whatever district the children come from is where the funding comes from for that student. So that's what he's trying to say. So if I'm in the Lawrence School District, if my son goes, then Lawrence will be billed for all the incidentals that he receives. So just in case, he probably had Jericho just assuming some kids would come from Jericho, so we had that as an example. But it's each individual school district, so if someone's from West Islip and they decide to drive here, then the West Islip School District would pay those fees.
She's right.
Sorry.
But I didn't make an assumption.
No, I didn't mean it.
Right. And I'm just saying we are in the district, so we use the district that we are in. But if nobody comes, there's no doubt about it. Yes?
If you apply and your child is accepted, is your district obligated to pay that?
Yes. Yes.
And how do you accept the children based on what criteria? Like how do they qualify for the program?
Well, we have, if you want your child to come, we have to accept your child.
There's no testing.
There's no testing.
And what if there's more kids want to come?
If we have only 100 spots and there are more to fill the spots that we have to use a lottery.
Can they go back and after a year they don't want to?
They can reapply. Yes, yes, that's your choice. Absolutely. Yes.
The students being accepted the first year, they'll all be ninth graders?
Yes.
Would there be an allocation for different school districts, even in the lottery system? Because I do agree with you that the other school districts can take advantage of a charter school like this. And just to give an equal opportunity to other school district students as compared to having one lottery system.
Yes. Other school district children will have an opportunity, yes.
So will there be an allocation to each one of them?
No, I can't do an allocation. I just have to take what comes. So, for instance, if nobody applies from any school district, I got a big building, a lot of teachers, and nothing to do.
Right. I was talking about the
So there's
When you have more number of students apply.
Oh, no. If we have more, it's still a lottery. It's still a lottery. I can't say, no, I can give you no quotas. You know, I can give you 5, I can give you 10. I can't do that.
Why aren't you doing the testing?
Because it's really a public school and it's choice. So I can't set up a testing. This gentleman went to Brooklyn Tech, one of the greatest schools that we've ever seen. And we had to take tests to go there, and Stuyvesant and other places. But in this charter school, the way it's set up, the law does not allow you to test to go in, at least at this level right now. See, because then you can set up really elite schools. And while we're going to have the highest standards, you know, we can't discriminate.
Are the students going to be in campus, will they be individual students?
Well, when you say will they
Or
be...
will be separated?
Well, no, they'll have their own building, their own cafeteria.
Their own...
Well, only to the degree that they, you know, have to come on campus and leave campus. I do not look for them to be in the dormitories and other places. That's why I was saying earlier, I'm very confident about the safety and security of our campus. Yes. Yes.
Looking on the chart, it said for 9th grade science, it was environmental. Isn't 9th grade usually biology? I didn't see biology listed.
Sure, I can answer to that. We're going to present them with AP Environmental Science. The hope is that, or the assumption is that students will come in prepared with living environment or biology under their belt already. Most students do take that and then sit for the Regents in 8th grade. However, taking AP Environmental Science allows us to prepare them if in fact they have not passed that Regents exam, or if they have not taken the living environment course. The curriculum for AP Environmental is adaptable enough to be able to prepare them to take that Regents at the end of 9th grade anyway.
Sir.
Related to that question, what is the difference between the course being taught in Jericho school districts or science school districts? What is the here? What is the difference?
You have to say it again now.
Yeah. The difference between course being taught in curriculum being taught in Jericho or science school districts.
What is the difference between the curriculum and science that would be taught in our charter schools as opposed to what is now being currently taught in Jericho?
Core content courses will not be different. We're all part of New York State. We have New York State regulations and scope and sequence to follow, and a Regents exam to prepare our students for graduation. And that's our first and foremost, our priority. However, one of the things that makes us different from the schools that are currently teaching your students and your children is that we offer a STEM applied science research course all 4 years at an advanced level in efforts to prepare these students for higher education and for STEM.
You mean to say that is not there?
Sorry?
They don't have this course.
That's correct.
Dr. Sawyer?
Yes, hello, Dr. Ross. I'm a professor at Old Westbury. I have some observations about and questions about the curriculum. One, I did notice the absence of biology, and I would think, if I were a parent, that I would look for human anatomy, cell biology at a level that can't be taught at the 8th grade, but I don't know the environmental science curriculum. So I'll move on to the question of language. I think it's very interesting to see that the language that's emphasized is Latin. That's a very exciting idea. I think that as a sort of classicist myself, I'm excited about it. But in terms of teacher practitioners, Latin is a language that is not offered at SUNY Old Westbury. So we would not have any colleagues in the modern language department nor teacher candidates in School of Education who are studying Latin to make use of that class, to make, have interactions with it, to be able to assess it, participate. So I wonder if the presence of Latin in the Doshi's charter school curriculum would indicate that we would plan to have offer